What up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Electrician Live. My name is Paul Abernathy, one of your hosts, and with me, as always, my co-host, my cohort in crime, all the way from Colorado. So, welcome, Mr. Grunberg. As always, welcome to the show. I think this is Mr. Grunberg. Not 100% sure at this point. Say.
How are you, Mr. Abernathy?
Look, heavy breathing and all, got the mask on. You know, I will say this. Looks-wise, this is an improvement for the show than the normal, look that we have. Just
Funny guy you are. And I see you, once again, are not dressed up for this special occasion or this special show. And who are you? Who are you supposed to be?
I'm a happy camper. Come on. I am dressed up for the show. Well, happy pre-Halloween. Again, Halloween is still, a couple days away? It's Sunday, right? Sunday will be Halloween? All right.
Yeah, it's this Sunday.
This Sunday. So, again, welcome. So, how are things? Okay, lift the mask up. It's getting a little creepy now. Lift the mask. How is... Yeah, go on in. Oh, God, put the mask back down. Put it down. Put the mask. How are things in Colorado? Aaron says he dressed up as an electrician. Yeah, that's right. That's what people will say.
For you?
Yeah. So...
Yeah, because he doesn't play one. He doesn't do his electrician role like he used to. Supposedly did.
Yeah.
So now he's
whatever
playing role. But no, everything over here is really good. Again, the mornings are kind of chillier. We're getting into the big fall. Everybody in the neighborhood is getting their sprinklers blown out. You see that. You always see that at this time of year. That one. I never understood this though. So at the top of the hill, we have a guy who that's what he does. He does the sprinkler blowouts. He does lawn care, all this other stuff. Just like
sprinkler blowouts, you mean blow the water out the sprinkler system so it won't freeze?
Yeah, so that's what they come in and they have a air. What are they? The air compressors.
Yeah.
They just blow the lines out.
Couldn't you do that?
Each one of them. Well, so I just don't have one, so it's just easier because the guy that's up the road, he does all our landscaping for us.
Oh, okay. So
go.
Spread the wealth.
When he came down, we just and he's a small time business owner too, and Tim and his brother. So they just hooked it up. I have the set up on my phone where I can hit each zone manually myself, just boom, boom, boom. So I hit the zone, he blows it out. Next thing you know, all the water's out of it, so it doesn't freeze up, and then down in the basement, I had to drain the little release valve for the extra water that was in there. So, yeah, so we did that. But what I was saying was it's crazy how on your block you have so many trades or so many professions, but then when someone wants work done at their house, they hire someone else. I'm just like, hey, don't you know the guy at the road he does this stuff, and right. Let alone they have other companies. So, I don't know, weird.
Yeah.
But
yeah. So...
How's everything going with you down in Texas?
Everything's good in Texas. Windy today, quite a bit of windy. Blew things around quite a bit. But other than that, it's not too bad at all. I can't complain. Fall is here. It's starting to get cooler in the evening. We're going back to the lake this weekend. Again, every chance I can get, we're going to run to the lake. But other than that, everything's good. Everything's good. Very windy today, but I haven't checked any shingles on the roof yet just to see if any were blown off because it happens a lot down here. But everything appears to be okay. So
you went down to the lake last weekend.
That's right.
I've seen some of your social media posts.
Yeah,
man, it looked a little chilly and windy down there.
It was windy.
I mean, are you still enjoying it even with it being like that?
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was. I mean, it's windy, but it was still warm enough that it was not too bad. Still in the 80s, so lower 80s. So, definitely not bad at all. But it's going to get colder quickly. But we put in that fire pit, so we get to enjoy the fire pit and all that type of stuff. Although they don't add that much warmth, they're more for looks. Aaron asked if I caught fish. We did not fish last weekend. I had trouble with my truck, so I didn't. We decided not take the boat out. So we didn't take the boat out. We didn't do any fishing, and we won't do any fishing this weekend either. So just going down there and relaxing. That's about it. Getting decodified. Finally finished up the code panel work that we did for a public comment stage. For those out there that are into that, we finished it up. So I'm on 17 in code panel 5. So 17's done. Code panel 5 is done. A lot of the code panels are done because really there's only three days left. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday for this. For the code panels to finish, and we'll all be done at least for this stage. And then all we have left is the annual meeting next year, and should be good to go. So
you guys are cruising. Sounds like you guys are cruising right along, man.
Yep. A lot of changes. Been a busy week. Okay, so I finally got it all done. So that's the important part, is getting it all out of the way, and looking at a lot of people submitted a lot of public comments, and they were great comments, and some of them we just couldn't do. Like, for example, definition for objectionable current. It just never happened. We just couldn't come to an agreement, because there are applications where we are forced to create objectionable currents situations, but the code supports it. So there's other grounding and bonding applications that could create it. So we didn't want to call it objectionable current because it's an acceptable practice by the code. And so we had to back and forth the language. So in the code, there's some applications that will force you into having that situation. And so writing objectionable current and writing a definition for it, it didn't apply broadly across all the areas that it should meet in order to put a definition in there. So basically it's worked to this point. So we basically punted on it and said, and it was great submittals, but none of them captured the essence of what objectionable current is and things like that. So, we wanted to say that all connections to grounding on the load side would create objectionable currents. But again, there are some applications where that's permitted to take place. And so we just had to be careful on how we did it. So, okay.
Gotcha. So, the 2023 will not have that definition, but I know that kind of like we were chatting before, there are some changes going on. And I remember a few months ago, we were talking about this whole process getting started, and it's just so crazy how time flies and we're here. You know what I mean? Like you're having those meetings already. You're in them for 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
You're meeting on Zoom with guys that are around the whole, is it just in the U.S. or is it around the whole country? Are other people?
It's all over the country. Right. So the National Electrical Code has representation from all over the country. So, we'll be sitting in a meeting and we have to be aware of the time zones, because your chair could be on the East Coast and you got people participating on the West Coast, again, 4 hours difference or so, whatever it is. And and they go, all right, take 20-minute break, be back at this time. Right. So, you have to go, okay, so that's his time. So that would be my time would be this, so it's, that's kind of crazy anyway. So
that is crazy.
Yep.
Well, good.
So we had another exam prep night last night. I don't necessarily call that an exam prep night. Because we kind of talked healthcare facilities, so we're just having a conversation. It went all over the place, as you know, and I've told you I kind of wasn't happy with how it goes all over the place. I don't want to use the PowerPoints from our provider for the course. I would do my own. Usually I just use a code book. But we had a lot of discussions on Type 1 essential electrical systems, Type 2 essential electrical systems. Type 2 is typically used for nursing homes and things like that, whereas the Type 1 essential electrical systems, and that's with the critical life safety and equipment branches, all that type of stuff is typically in hospitals and things like that. We kind of talked about that, kind of touched the surface on it, but I will like to announce to everybody that I will have a full video series. You remember my 2020 NEC analysis that I did a while back that I never finished yet?
Sure do.
Yeah. Well, I'm to make it clearer
just a little,
for those
there's just
folks.
A little delay in there, okay?
Little delay
just a little
there.
delay. That's all. Just a step back.
Yeah. So the 2020. So I did a full video series on 517, explaining all the little pieces, especially for exam preparation and all that kind of stuff. So again, look for that to come out very soon. Some of it might even come out tomorrow. So heads up. The first one will be free, talking about definitions, but the other ones are going to be exclusive for monthly subscribers. But the first one is going to come out, and I get to clarify statements made. Again, you're talking to fast track students, and you're talking about patient care vicinity, which is a space that is actually defined 6 feet out, 7.5 feet high, but also that's inside of what's called a patient care space. So the patient care vicinity is around the bed or the treatment area. And then the patient care space is the bigger encompassed area, right? And so the redundancy that we talked about for the different wiring methods and all that, that's for the patient care space. It just so happens that the patient care vicinity is right in that patient care space. And anyway, I go into all kinds of detail about that and the different requirements for what has to be on the alternate power source or the additional power source that we have to have, which typically for like a life safety branch would be a part of the emergency system and that type of thing. So we cover it all in the series, and it's a video series, and I'm using the code book like I always do. I'm not going to use the PowerPoints that are recommended to me. I'm just using the code. That's what I'm known for. So I'm going back to the code. But it still was a great night seeing the folks coming into, the Fast Tracks training that we stream live. And there was a little bit of a rush to get it up there because it wasn't working well. It wasn't like as smooth as Electrician Live is tonight, but it was kind of last minute, boom, 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 that type of thing. So
I could tell at the end
upcoming.
At the end of the session last night, I think we went still 2.5 hours on that presentation, maybe even a little 3 hours, and you could tell that it was bothering you that it wasn't that you didn't
the way I wanted it to be.
A lot of this. Right, and you're at the point now where you've been educating for so long that if you don't structure it or have any kind of input on it, it just seems like it doesn't meet your standards, and that's a good thing because again, you in 3 hours you throw so much information and you like to have it structured and it was a good night. Hey, big shout out to some of the guys in the room.
Oh yeah, who we got in the chat tonight? Who do we got?
Yeah, so Dimitrio's here. He already donated $9.99. Appreciate that. We'll put you down for spinning the wheel at the end of the show.
Spinning the wheel, baby. Appreciate it, Dimitrio.
So, do you have any of those new
bottle
giveaways? Did they come in? The bottle openers and stuff.
They have not come in yet.
They've not come in. Okay, so that's gonna be for a future show.
They have not arrived yet.
Hey man, we're hanging out tonight. We're off the clock. So, what's up, man? Big shout out to O. Still have your hat. Oh, let me just so you know,
Aaron in the house. Aaron,
this is yours. Aaron. O, I still have it. It's right here, so it's not going anywhere until I send it out. So
I did send out O's stuff. I don't know if O received it or not, but
he told us he did. So
did he? Okay, cool.
God bless for the world. Yes, big ups to the man above. Thank you. Hashtag God for Bled for the world is in the house. So thank you for joining us tonight.
Schwartzy's in the house.
Who?
Schwartzy. Michael.
Oh.
In the house. Was here last night. He's very active.
That's right.
Joins us on all the streams. Thank you.
He does, man. He's involved. Yeah. He's one of the diehards.
Yeah. So we have a lot of activity, Jay, that takes place over in the Facebook forum. I'd spend a little time in there. I've been posting quite a bit about our grounding and bonding thing coming up. He's been posting. We had a neat discussion where one of the guys said that one of the images that we posted showed a parallel neutral path on the supply side. Well, kind of had the conversation on it, and all of us on code panels know that if you had a panel and you had a meter and you had a metal nipple between it, the neutral's running through it, but you have to do a supply side bonding of that nipple per code, you got to do either end. You got to do at least one end of it to bond that raceway, right? So he said, does that create parallel neutrals? And the answer to that is yes, it does. However, it's known by us on the code panel. It does. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, since 250.142 allows the grounded neutral conductor to bond all metal parts on the supply side anyway, what is the concern as long as we size the neutral properly? Now, is it parallel path neutral? Yes. Do we know what all other paths it could take? No. But at this point, even the code panel punted on it and didn't want to address it. And to this point, I don't know anybody new that has submitted in. Aaron, you're a madman. Thank you. Definitely. Again, I don't know what else to send you, Aaron. I gotta send you a book, which I have not sent it to you yet. Apologize, but I think I'll put something else in there to send it with you. So I'm just
you know what we should do. We should get him one of those because he again, it's Aaron's my brother-in-law. My wife's brother, older brother, and big supporter, man. I've told you guys how much Aaron, I appreciate him and stuff. Right now, he's bed rest at his house, so maybe what we'll do is get him a nice Electrician Live mug or something he can drink his fluids with and Gatorade with and stuff. I'll get you one of those.
Aaron says, send something from Texas that you love. I am not sending my wife, but I'm more than happy to send my kid. All right.
Do you love him? No,
I'm sorry. Yeah, I guess the love had to be in there somewhere. So,
tough love. That's what it is. Tough love.
Tough love. Right. Yeah. So
that's funny.
Yeah. Paul loves his guns. See, I do, but why do you have to go there? I am not sending my guns. Sorry, Aaron, no guns. But at any rate, what was I going? I was going down a path and talking about something.
You were. And while you think about it, I'll answer Aaron's question. He says, "Does your Jason mask glow in the dark?" It does. This one actually does. It glows in the dark. So I won't try it out tonight, but we go out. So tomorrow night, I don't think I can dress up with my mask on, but we do have tickets that we're going out to some haunted houses. So we're taking the kiddo and one of his buddies, Robert, with us. So it's going to be, so it's me, the wife, Xavier, and Robert. So they're going to be the four of us. Man, now that the COVID thing's kind of over, these tickets, you have to order them online.
But some people don't want to let it go. It's over, I'm sorry if people holding on.
It's not. It's better than where it was last year at this point. Things are opening up, and we can actually be live in certain areas that we couldn't last year. So,
right.
But when we were online getting tickets, man, they were almost all sold out. So we had to actually get the VIP ones, which are a little bit more money. But luckily I make a living off of my good looks, so we had plenty of it. So we're got two tomorrow. We're doing two tomorrow, two or haunted houses. So looking forward to that.
Yeah, well, there you go. There you go.
You do haunted houses?
You know, down in Fort Worth, it's supposed to be the largest haunted house in the world. It's an old slaughterhouse, but I've never gone to it. My son's gone to it, but I've never gone to it. I don't do, and he said that one, they actually touch you. So that's one of those things about the haunted houses. We used to go to the King's Dominion. We were in Virginia, the Busch Gardens and all that. They just scare you, but they can't touch you. So you're like, whatever, bro.
Touch me, man. I'm going to
bring it, bro. So, but he says, and I love watching the videos where the people are scared to death. They're like peeing themselves. And I'm sitting there going, dude, you know that they can't touch you. When we were back in Virginia, a friend of ours owned this place called Fear Forest. You can Google it. And they worked at a vet clinic right next to my office. And they started this thing on this big farm called Fear Forest. And boy, it got huge. I mean, the lines and lines. And it's funny because it's only open for like 3 weeks in October, 2 weeks in October. but they were making money hand over fist. Now that was pretty neat. And people would volunteer to dress up and whatever. They liked to help out and all that kind of stuff. Boy, it got big, and they're doing quite a bit. In fact, enough that I think she made enough that she wouldn't have to work during the rest of the year. But I think she still does because she's like a vet tech. But it was very successful. So we used to go to that on Halloweens and things like that. But this one down there, Zach, my son went down there and he said that they'll touch you. They'll reach out to you. Now, back when I was younger, the JCs used to put this thing on called the Boo House. And it was in a house that was old, Jack. And it was all proceeds went to support the JCs. And I tell you what, that was a scary one. You know, of course, being young as well. But boy, everybody in town wanted to go to the Boo House. And that's back in Charlottesville. And again, Charlottesville has its own history and everything. But I used to go. But as we moved out Texas, we haven't done anything like that. And I don't. You know, as manly as I am, I don't get scared easy, as you know, Jay. So,
yeah, you wear your heart on your sleeve. Very tough guy. Very, very tough. Biker tough. You know, definitely. So the wife and I, Halloween is probably our favorite. Let's call it a holiday, I guess. Our favorite, holiday of the year is Halloween. So we decided. I think it was probably like 5 or 6 years ago. We decided to take a trip to Vegas. Just her and I.
For Halloween?
We went to Vegas on Halloween. No, we didn't land on Halloween.
But
we went in maybe 3 days before. But yeah, it was during that period. And you know, you could feel the build up as it was going because we flew in probably 2 days before the actual date of Halloween. So we flew in on Friday and it was a Sunday like it is this year, something like that. And you could see it. It was in the air. And on actual Halloween, we went down, and I think they have like everybody claims to be the world's #1 haunted house, and that's what they claimed. And they did the same thing that you're talking about. They would touch you, but you had to sign a waiver saying you wouldn't touch them back. And I'm not talking about
you wouldn't
touch, like you couldn't punch them, like you know they were worried about that. And so we're going through this haunted house, and this lady, I could see her. She has these little zap rings, you know, where they touch you, it kind of gives you a little jolt.
Buzzers.
They zap you a little bit, a little buzzer, you know. And so I kid you not, she was grabbing people by their arm. Where I tucked my hands like this, and I thought I was funny. And then she went around and touched me on the butt. She zapped my butt, man. I was like, woo! Didn't see that one coming, and so it was just like, geez, I didn't know that was.
That'll get you a misdemeanor in New York, buddy. Just ask Cuomo. Okay, so, all right.
But it was definitely the best haunted house that I ever went to was the one in Vegas, and they have like 3 of them all in one area. You know, you pay X amount of money and you hit all three of them, and it was such a cool time. And I tell you what, the strip on Vegas too was bananas. Never seen anything like.
I imagine the people come out dressed up.
Oh my Lord! I mean, you know, Vegas, the night strip already is
crazy
live,
strip anyway.
But on Halloween night, oh, best night ever! So cool.
Best night ever. Yeah. Funny, you know, I'm at a Debbie Downer, but I used to love Halloween. Of course, my dad died in October. Then I love Christmas. Then my mom dies at Christmas, so you know, dies on the holidays. So I'm like, womp womp womp, you know. But anyway. Don't want to be a Debbie Downer.
No, don't be a Debbie Downer.
No. So, what else we got to talk about?
So, if you guys, Aaron, I will see you on Sunday. I will. We're going to come see you after church. That's going to be fun. I haven't seen him for a while. If you guys want to call in tonight and tell us a story, the line is open. It is 1-214-945-0653. It's in the chat. Just scroll up to the top. Aaron, thank you again for the donation. So I just want to tell you guys a little history of Friday the 13th. I got a couple little facts for you, some movies out there.
This is our annual Halloween special. If you guys remember, we did this last year.
You remember what I was dressed up as last year?
Yeah, I do. Can I say it 3 times? What will it do?
I wasn't Candyman.
Wait a minute.
Oh.
No, it's just Beetlejuice,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
Beetlejuice. Yeah, it's 3 times. It's 3 times.
What are you trying to say,
I thought
bro?
I tricked you.
No.
And that I was actually upstairs in the room still. I've actually upgraded now to the office. So
Oh yeah, the new digs, right?
yeah, it's the new place, man. I have some horror stories on the job site as well, but before I get into those, just a little fun fact for Friday the 13th, the movie. It was released May 9th in 1980. So I wasn't even born yet, and I imagine you were probably, about 15,
Just
something
shut
like
up.
that.
Just shut up. Okay. So that was back in 80?
1980, yeah, and it actually, May 9th, 1980, and it was actually released on Friday the 13th. What were you doing back in 1980, Paul? Where were you at? What were you doing back then? And did you watch this movie when it came out? Did you watch Friday the 13th?
Probably not. I would say I was... God. So... yeah, I'm not... God, I can't remember. I was probably, 11 or 12? Maybe?
Oh, okay.
Something like that. So...
Aaron was 4 years old. Yep.
Let me see what I've got here. Hold on. Oh, let me see what I got, because somebody says he can't see us. So Aaron is... Let me see what I've got here. Hold on.
I think Aaron can, because he's commenting on it. He heard what I said.
No, I don't know. So I don't know, Demetrio. I'm seeing the video fine. I just checked it. So not sure. Might drop off and come back, but I see the stream's working on my end. I just checked the YouTube stream. So you can also watch us over, if you want, over at electricianlive.com. It's streaming there as well. So feel free. Can't chime in, but you can go watch if you want. What else?
In 1980. What were you doing? Where were you at?
Where was I at? I was in Charlottesville, Virginia. I was born in 69. So 79, I was 10. So 80, I'd be 11 years old.
11 years old. Okay.
And I can pretty much tell you that I wasn't going to be watching no Friday the 13th movie at 11 years old. Probably yeah. Not. One of my favorite movies back then, and now if you go look at it, it's terrible. The acting is terrible. That type. Did you have a mullet? Hell no, I was 11 years old. I did have hair though, so that's improvement.
That's right.
Freddy Krueger, Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yes.
I don't know when that came out.
84.
84? Okay, that
1984, released November 9th. Yes.
Right, so I did see that. At the time, the movie looked like it was all really nice, but if you ever go back and watch it now, you look at it and go, wow, that is some cheesy, boy, they needed some CGI back then, because it is cheesy. Robert Englund is Freddy Krueger. It's cheesy. But, hey, at the time, So what movie do you remember seeing back then that's kind of like a horror movie? Do you remember the first one you said that you looked at it, and I remember the first one I looked at that made me no longer want to go to the beach. I remember that. Not a horror movie, but I remember that movie. And I don't remember when that came out, but I saw that and I was like,
oh, you're talking about Jaws.
Jaws, baby.
You're talking about Jaws. Yeah, Jaws. Man, I tell you what, back to what you were saying though on the Nightmare on Elm Street. I've actually rewatched that again, and you're exactly right, man.
It's like cheesy.
Wow. But at the time, like videos, yeah. I mean, you're comparing them to today. So like back then, at that time, it was the bee's knees, And then you go look at like one of the Fast and Furious movies, or any of these higher end movies, and you just go, oh man, these things blow them out of the water.
Oh, yeah.
But
Aaron says The Exorcist. Yeah, that was a pretty. But see, the thing about the Exorcist movies. The thing about those is they were so believable movies. I mean, you watch a Nightmare on Elm Street, you watch a Friday the 13th, you're like, whatever. It's scary, but you're like, whatever. When you watch a movie like The Exorcist, and you look over and your wife goes, something like that, then you really think it could happen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right.
And when I wake up and I see her in the morning about 6:30 a.m. and I go, oh my, is she levitating? Is she above the bed? Then it can happen. She's in the other room. So, it's, some of those movies were too close. And some of those horror movies now are just crazy. They're just crazy. But yeah, back in the day, Friday the 13th, Part 1, Part 2, Part 3. Then they started getting stupid. Freddy Krueger versus Jason, or Jason versus the Predator. It started getting stupid. But back at the beginning, Crystal Lake and all that kind of stuff. Oh, what about Mike Myers? Halloween series. Boy, that has a cult following.
Yes.
Okay. So
that was. And so just like you said, the movie Friday the 13th was based on a summer camp at Crystal Lake, but the movie actually was based on it happened at Crystal Lake, but it was actually based on a true story which took place in Lake Bodom in Finland. So it was a different place. They just named it. They named the site different, the lake different, but it was based on a true story.
There was a killer around there or something?
Yeah, there's a killer that killed some teenagers around there at a summer camp or some type of camp, who knows? But so it was based on a true story. Another fun fact is Jason stands at 6'5", which out of the villains that we've kind of talked about, he's the fourth tallest behind Candyman, who's 6'5" as well.
I remember
Candyman. Just maybe 6'5" and like a half. You're one that you just said, Myers, who stands at 6'9". And then the one that you actually mentioned again, the tallest of them all, which was the Predator, standing at 7'3". Still wonder why he didn't play basketball. Who knows?
But yeah,
unfortunately,
I'm sure he probably did better at the Predator, maybe, but I don't know. Depending on what these guys make today. Okay.
He probably should have played basketball. I stand at 5'6", so maybe I should have been Freddy Krueger.
Said there's many.
5'8". I would have been a little closer.
Says there's many killers around this side of town. Woo! Got a wireless caller calling in. Hold on.
Call from
Aaron.
To accept, press 1. To send a voice.
Aaron, welcome to the show.
Again.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. Thanks for calling in.
Hey, I just have to tell my brother right here, his favorite movie is Twilight.
Goodness.
He loves
okay.
sparkling
So it does relate because
vampires.
they are vampires, okay? It does relate, and that is your sister's favorite movie. And being a good husband, I have watched all of them.
Oh, Jay, you little Tinkerbell. Let me guess. Peter Pan was the follow-up one you loved too, huh?
So
my goodness.
He had to Google what Jason was. He was more into that frou-frou stuff. So don't let it get it twisted. But no, my biggest favorite moment on Halloween was me, my sister, my bro that's right there, and I had the Dark Knight with Heath Ledger. I had the mask of it, and we were handing out candy, and we were all together, and that was one of the best moments I had for a while before I got sick and I had this trach in my throat. But anyway, that's one of my fondest memories that I miss with my brother. So, yeah, man, for real.
Well, you're gonna see him. You're gonna see him Sunday.
That's right, and I'm gonna give him some noogies.
There you go.
Some good brother love.
Noogies.
But I
come on now.
Yeah, some noogies. I remember that night though. We were sitting outside on his driveway, and we actually brought out the couch. And we were hanging out on the couch, sitting out there.
And, that's party time. Bringing out the couch, giving out candy.
We brought out the couch, man. We had the couch out. We had music going. We just got done eating off the barbecue. We did some chicken and hamburgers, hot dogs. We had a good little thing going. And
Did y'all have beer going?
What was that?
I think we had beers.
Probably, yeah.
Did we have beers that night? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Like I said, I think we had a good get together, and all the kids loved it. You know, we were out there having fun, giggling, laughing. It's crazy because you don't see that on Halloween much. You know, a lot of people just put out the bowls. Mm-hmm. You know, they just had the bowl and the sign that says, "Hey, just take one." Man, we were out there. We were giving kids handfuls. We didn't care.
You were scaring the kids. You were scaring the kids.
We were scaring them. Yeah.
So we put the bowl of candy out. I remember last year, or was it last year or the year before? We had the bowl of candy out. Darlene didn't want to give out the candy more, you know, and I was like, don't turn off the lights. If somebody comes up, we'll give them candy. And the ring was on, and she had set the bowl out there. And I was looking at the ring, and this kid came up, and he grabbed a whole handful, a big old thing, and I jumped on the ring, and I went, "Hey, what you doing? Put that candy back." You should have seen the eyes on that kid. That kid was like, and he put all that candy back, and I don't think he even took a piece. He's like, put it all back. So I thought that was hilarious.
He probably has PTSD now. He's like, look, that house right there, there's a grumpy man. Don't take no candy.
The neighborhood will tell you must have gone to the grumpy old gunman up the street, and they would all know who it is. It'd be me. It's the guy with this guy with the guns. That'd be me. Yeah. So.
That's okay.
So what was the scariest for you, Aaron?
In what?
What was the scariest movie? You said The Exorcist. Was that the scariest movie that you've seen?
When I was a kid, that really scared me. But I think the most disturbing movie that I actually saw was Amityville Horror.
I actually seen that. I've actually been by that house.
See?
Oh wow!
Up in New York, up in upstate New York, or wherever it is. I've actually been by that house. Definitely.
That movie scared me. And then The Shining. You know, Red Rum.
Oh,
The Shining.
Here's Johnny.
Yeah. And you know what's crazy about The Shining was we went up to that hotel. It's in Estes. Yeah, you remember that, bro? Hammy? We went up there. You weren't with us, but Jalissa was, and we went up with another couple, and we went to a big Halloween party there, and we actually they wouldn't let you go up to that floor unless you were renting a room out, right? And unless you're actually part of the that night staying over. Well, we snuck in. We snuck past the guys and got on the elevator and went up, and we actually seen it, and we were just kind of, you know, we were kind of breaking the rules, you know, so we're kind of on tippy toes looking around. But yeah, man, it's something about that hotel that it's creepy. Man, it is creepy.
Yeah, so I was up there. I got to go by the Amityville house because it was I was right next to it because it's up there near UL, and I was up there making a visit to UL, and they have a place. I think it's up in that, and Mike might know. Isn't that up near Melville or somewhere? You know, right up there. But anyway,
it's Amityville. Yeah.
Yeah, it was right near the UL facility. So they were like, "Hey, Paul, you want to go over and see the Amityville Horror House?" I was like, "Yeah, let's do it." And I was like, "Damn, that looks like in the movie." Then I was I've so wanted to go to people living there and say, "Dude, does this house freak you out or not?" Because people live in it, and they're like,
"That's crazy."
You know, they don't.
Would you actually do? Now I got a question for both of y'all. So, would you do any electrical work in that house?
Absolutely. Money's green.
Really?
Yeah, money's green. I don't care. Money's green. I don't care.
Green.
I don't care. Just
for those.
Long as you don't.
Ghostbusters.
I'm going there. Shoot. You know, I'm one of those guys. I watch every one of those shows like Ghost Hunters and all that. I want to see something. I do. Wow. When I'm sitting up in my room at night by myself and I'm talking to my mom or dad or somebody that's passed, I'm like, move something. Make something fly across the room. Do something. Now, I am not into poltergeist, Jack, and I'm not into like demonic crap. But it would be nice
Right.
to get some other sign that there's a ghost or something like that. But I tell you, there's a show that's on right now called God, what is that show called? That plays all those videos that are more caught on camera. There you go, caught on camera.
Oh, okay.
That stuff's that's legit, and so it makes you think there's something. You can't rig that stuff the way they do it and the way those videos, again, the quality of videos and the way something's out there. And do I believe in Bigfoot? No. Do I believe in Sasquatch? No, because the many hunters as we have in the U.S., as many guns as we have, somebody had mounted that sucker on a wall somewhere. So I know there ain't no Sasquatch, right?
Well, at least not in Texas.
At least not that. Well, in Texas, we'd have shot it and eat it. But
right. In the Pacific Northwest, maybe.
Yeah, I still don't get it. There's so many people looking for that sucker. How elusive could it be? Really? Really? You can't find that sucker? Come on. Many people looking for him? Please. Come on.
Hey,
I think I would.
I've been mistaken as a Sasquatch once or twice in my life.
Well, they definitely have a distinctive smell, Aaron. So if that's a dead giveaway, I don't know.
Hey, that was Jay. He's the Buddha of the family, okay?
Yeah,
I wouldn't doubt that at all.
I don't know, man. I think I'd work on a house. The only houses I'd probably stay away from are like houses that are built on top of cemeteries and stuff like that. I don't know if I would go into like some kind of creepy cemetery house.
Really?
I probably wouldn't do any work on those. But if it was open and the lights, the sun was out and everything was lit up, yeah. Not doing overnights though. I wouldn't do overnights at those places. Heck no, I'm not doing night work, but. Electrical is electrical. It all still works the same.
Yep. Well, cool.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. Aaron, thank you again for calling, and I promise you I will get that book out. I'm gotten behind Code Panel.
Whenever it's ready to go, just go ahead and ship it, man, for real.
Right.
It's going to be great. But, bro, you guys have a great night.
You too.
I'll see you on Sunday. I'm going to get some rest. I'm tired, but I love you guys, and hey, like, comment, subscribe. These two are the best.
Thank you.
I'm telling you, I see it every day. I see my brother's hustle. I already know what Paul's all about. He's the Yoda of everything, you can tell. He's very knowledgeable, and you guys need to do what you do, and God bless both of you.
All right, you too, Aaron. We appreciate you. All
right.
Yeah,
take care.
All
right.
All right, man.
Have a good night.
See y'all later.
All right,
good
bye-bye.
Night. Bye.
Cool. Well, that's always a treat. Call in.
Yeah, he's good guy, man. He calls with good intentions and great stories. Tell you what, that night that he was talking about us out on his driveway, that was a good night, man. It was good. Kids were coming up, they were having fun. I miss those moments with Aaron because of the sickness. He's kind of bed rest, doesn't get out as much, but those are the good moments that we have. So.
Absolutely.
Thanks for calling in. That was good.
We do have a question. Ketsoya did post a question in there that we'll answer. It says, quick question. It says on 250.8, and for those that aren't familiar with 250.8, that is the grounding and bonding terminations and all the rules you have to meet under 250.8 for terminations. And his question is, should we still scrape the paint off the panel when applying the ground screw if properly threaded? So what we're talking about now, there are some cases where you're making contact to non-conductive surfaces that you would scrape it off in order to be able to make adequate contact, right? A great example would be, and I'm just kind of going broadly to round my way back to your question. So I might have lock nuts, and there's lock nuts that dig into a panel or dig into a box, and there's some that do not. So if I use the lock nuts that don't dig in, that have the little hook on them that'll dig into it, then it kind of scrapes that surface away and makes that intimate contact that's necessary. But there are many jurisdictions, and again, you have to make this call, that are going to invoke 250.12. And if you have your code book, and if you look at 250.12, that talks about clean surfaces. And here's what it says. So I'll read it for you. But in your case, if it's a threaded entry and it's making at least 2 full contacts of thread, which it looks like you're talking about, it either meets 250.8a 5 or 6. Okay, we're assuming either one of those applications. Then I don't think it's necessary to scrape anything off. It's the thread connection that's what's making the actual connection, not the actual head of the screw, right? Now, if there is any doubt at all, then 250.12 says non-conductive coatings such as paints, lacquers, and enamels on equipment to be grounded or bonded shall be removed from threads and other contact surfaces to ensure good electrical continuity, or shall be connected by a means of fitting designs so as to make such removal unnecessary. So that's an example of those lock nuts that actually will bite in and there's no need to remove anything. If it's a metal box that has no lacquers or whatnot, then it'll make that metal-to-metal contact. For me, if it's a screw through a threaded, and it's threaded and it meets the requirements of 250.88a, and it's a threaded application. So let's say it's number 5, which is, for example, machine screw type fasteners that engage not less than 2 threads or are secured with a nut. In case you kind of made a goof, the hole was a little big, so you put it through, but then you put a nut on it to secure it, that type of thing. Now, if you have the conductive surface, there's absolutely nothing wrong with removing the contact to it so that all makes, and I probably would promote that if you ended up using the nut because you made the hole too big. But if you're using the threaded screws and a threaded entry and meets the 2 threadings in contact with it, then I don't think it's necessary to do that. Another great example of that, to validate that, so you know, is that most all panels, for example, have a main bonding jumper of a screw type. And it's going to go through the bus, right? And it's going to go straight into the threaded holes into the back of the panel. Well, That's the true. End of that screw is not making intimate contact against the metal, right? It's going through a bus, and chances are that bus is isolated in many cases, and you need to put the main bonding jumper in order to connect it to the enclosure. The only contact that it's actually making is with the threads. Okay, so that's acceptable. That's true. But one of the things I will tell you, okay, and I'll just say key, is that any time where your connection would be suspect due to paints, due to lacquers, due to enamels, things like that, then it certainly would not hurt to clear away that so that there's a good conductive metal to metal. And that's for non-conductive coatings, by the way. Okay. A lot of the enamels that are on these panels are actually conductive coatings. Okay. So they're like baked on and they're conductive. So again, let that be your guide. Hopefully that helps you the best I can. I could tell you, yes, you got to scrape every termination, but again, the concept of the threads in the context of how you stated it, I don't think it would be necessary to do anything additional to that. And I'm sure there's somebody out there that would say, Paul, you're wrong, and that's fine. I don't mind being wrong in somebody's, and again, I don't really ever cared somebody's opinion of me, so that's the best I can give you, Key. So, all right. Jay.
Yeah, when I was doing a lot of commercial work, we would have the 6x6, 8x8, 12x12, maybe by 4 J boxes in the ceilings where we'd bring a ton of branch circuits to and feeders and whatnot, and we'd splice. There'd be pretty much a splice point, right? Either whether it be we're about to hit 360 degrees on our bends, maybe it was just a spot where we brought our home runs to, and then from there we branch circuit off. We would always take, because again, like you said, they always had that coating on it. We would, us as apprentices, that was our job, man. We would put a wire brush on an 18-volt drill, get that sucker on there nice and tight. Absolutely. We would, because we're adding ground bars in there, most likely 1 or 2 of them. So we would, wherever we'd put the ground bar at, we would self-tap it and thread our own screws out to, I think they're like 832s or whatnot. But we would take that brush, man, and we'd do it the length of that ground bar. And we had one guy, Victor. We call him a different name, but his real name is Victor. Man, he was tough. he would make you do it over and over and over. And if there was just one little paint mark that ground bar was hitting, he'd have you pull it back off, do it again. He was the same guy that wouldn't give you a new roll of tape, unless you brought him the cardboard piece in the center back of the one he gave you. He'd give everybody one roll of tape, and that was it.
Another great example is how many grounding buses have you added to panels? And you put the screws through it to the pre-done holes that are in the panel for that bus to go in, right?
Right. You
don't
get the
clean
same
all
manufacturer.
that way. You don't clean all the way. You put the screw in through the bus into the threaded entry into the actual holes that are there. That's okay.
Yes.
That's okay to do that.
Do you think it's the color? Because when you're doing it on a panel, let's say I got a remote distribution panel or a subby, bruh. Usually there's no paint on it. Usually it's just it's just
a lot of the ones in commercial are
coating.
just stainless steel or something like that. They don't have a coating on it. Residential ones tend to have the coatings. The ones that you see in a lot of commercials, they're just clean metals, clean steel, or whatever, that type of thing, or aluminum or something, right?
Right. Yep, exactly.
Yeah, there would be nothing to clean off.
Coating.
There would be nothing to clean off there. That wouldn't be necessary for anything like that.
Wouldn't be necessary. Okay.
But you have non-conductive paint, things, all that kind of stuff, then you're going to have to, you make it, unless you're using something that makes that unnecessary. And one of the examples that I gave might be, was a lock nut. There's different types of lock nuts. So the ones that actually will bite into the metal, and there are ones that will not, right? And so if you need to make a good connection, a reliable connection, and it's all, let's say, painted or enameled, and it's not, and you're using those type of lock nuts, then I would recommend you clean the surface around to make a good metal-to-metal contact. But if it's a lock nut that bites into it, it's unnecessary. It's going to make that connection, that type of thing. So let your situation be your guide, and if it looks like a crappy connection, then it may be a crappy connection. Okay, so that type of thing. But I wouldn't worry too much. I wouldn't worry too awful much about threaded applications. They're already threaded, that type of thing. I wouldn't worry about it. Let's see what else, Jay, we want to talk about tonight. You said you had some horror stories. Do you have any job site horror stories that you're aware of?
Yes, I have one just that I did to myself. Right, you can't really see it well, but on this index finger here on my left hand, it kind of, my nail.
Dude, I'm glad that was your pointer finger, because I got worried there for a second. I was like, dude, really? That's rude.
Oh, no. But this nail kind of curves to the right. Well, when I was a second-year apprentice, I was cutting some EMT with a a Sawzall. And I believe it was a corded Sawzall, so it had a lot of juice to it. When you pulled the trigger, man, it had the full maximum 12 amps on it. It was going. Well, I don't know. I decided to put the blade in upside down, and it still snapped in there. And as I'm cutting the pipe, it slips off, and it kind of comes loose out of the connection into the Sawzall, and it hits the top of my finger right here, and it exposes the whole nail. I mean, my nail, the bottom of this nail was sitting on top of my finger, on top of the down part of it, the skin, pretty much. My nail was on top of my skin. And it almost was so unreal. It was like, whoa, what the heck? Like when you do it, it doesn't hurt until you look down and you see it. And then when you see it, it's like, oh, crap. And you start panicking and everything like that. So anyways, I went into the doctor. They had to remove that nail. But ever since that nail grew back, it always kind of curves to the right. And it never goes straight anymore because of that incident. So that was my one time on a job site where I really jacked my finger up by using a tool improperly. So blood was everywhere, man. It was first thing I do is just like any other electrician, right? You grab your tape.
I was going to say,
it up.
I was going to say, it always ends up being something to do with some duct tape or some electrical tape or whatever on the job site. All right. let's go to the turd of the week and just kind of look at what you should not do. Again, we're not going to get all cozy with it, but we are going to look at what you should not do for the code turd of the week. So let me make sure I cue that music for the code turd, if I can find it. Wrong music for the code turd. Wrong music for the code turd. Where is my code turd at? Oh, there it is.
Get it right.
Code turd of the week. Hey, here's a blast from the past. I was going to say, here's one that I haven't heard in a while. Ain't heard those in a while, have y'all folks? I haven't done any podcasts on Code in 5. Haven't done that. Anyway. All right, Code Turd. Okay. Code Turd of the week. Here we go. Provided by Thomas Hunt over on, I guess this is Trade Hounds. Here we've got a 4-inch square with I would guess a 4-inch square extension. And yet another 4-inch square extension. And of course, we got conductors coming out of connector. And we've got just crap all over the place. So, this is definitely a code turd. Do not do this. This is not. And then they come into the bottom with MC cable. Now, okay.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I think that MC cable looks like it's from a manufacturer that a good buddy of mine works for. Mm-hmm. And that and that wiring company manufactures Encore wire. I'm pretty sure that's what that gray little wrap means. That's they're known for. Is that right, Mr. Abernathy?
Well,
was that cable produced
just
in
get it out, all right?
the manufacturing company you work at?
So that is now you see the actual gray on it, that signifies whether it's steel or armor. That's aluminum. That's aluminum. And it's going in, and chances are the way it's hanging down, it's probably not secured and supported anywhere as well. So, yes, that is our MC cable, without a doubt. But you know what? It just enhances that total turd. You've got those raceways coming out the top.
There's one thing that looks good.
Yeah, coming out. Yeah, it's the only part of it that remotely even looks good. So what's interesting is that a box like this, a 4-inch square box, can have an extension ring that gives it the same cubic inch as the 4-inch square, right? But extension rings are designed to go on boxes. They're not designed to go on extension rings. So you can't go box, extension ring, extension ring, extension ring. Again, that's not going to work. So that's obviously a violation here. Very clever. I've seen some pictures floating around out there with about like 6 or 7 of these boxes.
Yeah, I've seen one.
Yeah. And I'm sitting there going, there's no way you have the amount of free conductor that's required, or you couldn't get to it inside that box. Okay. So this is what's scary is you have that, I assume it looks like an orange and a white. They could be power conductors, and they're, just sticking out of a connector. Obviously that box is just being held. Obviously it's not going anywhere. It's being held up by all those raceways. So there you go. And so we have the violations involved with box like of course, open knockouts, got to plug them, right?
Open knockouts. Yep.
But in this case, it's just a box, extension box onto an extension box onto a regular box. All wrong. Don't do this. This is not something that I think people should do.
When I see this, the most creative part of this whole thing, because obviously someone had to do this, and they took a lot of time.
It didn't just get there.
This.
Somebody did it. Yeah.
So this the most creative part of this picture I see is on that second extension. Well, the first extension ring, but it's the middle one, so it's a sandwiched one.
Yeah.
You have a 90 that goes into. It looks like you have a 90-degree bend on the half-inch EMT that goes into a 90-degree flex connector, it looks like. I've never seen that before, man. And I'll be honest with you, that's pretty darn good. I mean, You got back to back 90s pretty much without putting a bend into it. So that's pretty creative right there.
So yeah, a fitting that's designed for flexible type of raceways is being used for a non-flexible type of raceway. Yeah. But it's all he had on the truck.
It's all he had on the truck. So you have to take off in order to pull the conductors through that pipe. You have to take off that back piece of that flexible connector. You have to take that piece all the way off. So you're pulling the wire through it, and then you're pulling the wire through the raceway, and then you're pushing in that connector and slapping that back plate on. That's
why I think they ended up switching. That's why I think they ended up switching to MC. They said, "Forget it."
Yeah, right.
By the time they got to the third one, extension, the second extension ring, they're like, "Forget it." Yeah, did they even need that third one? Because there is an opening, obviously, up at the box, right? Come in there.
Yeah, their cable wasn't long enough, though. That MC cable wasn't long enough to get up there. Look at it. It can barely even get to that one, to the bottom one. Jeez.
All right. So that's our code turd of the week. Again, if you have a code turd you want to send us, we'll discuss. Please send your code turd. So let's go to our giveaways. What do we got to give away tonight, Jay? Who are we giving away first?
So we have Demetrio.
All right, Demetrio, we're gonna spin the wheel. Roll. Spin the wheel if you're still with us. And we appreciate all the support. Thank you guys for coming. So you want an LED light. There you go. See one. There you go. Light. The nebulizer light. Okay. So make sure that you send your address, and I might throw you a little something else in there for you. Make sure you send your address to us at host or hosts with an S at electricianlive.com, and we will get that sent out to you. Get us your address, and we will get that out to you. Most certainly. And of course, we got Aaron. We're going to spin again. I don't know if I have anything left to give here to Aaron. Let's see. Let's do Aaron a spin. Stickers. Aaron wants stickers. I've already given him a bunch of stickers.
Oh, stickers. I think he's hit every one of them.
All right. We're going to spin again.
And again.
Keychain light. All right. Stickers. Write that down, Jay. Mm-hmm. Stickers. Got it. And keychain light. For Aaron, again, with the book and some other goodies as well. Now that's creepy. It looks like Jason's just staring at me. It's like,
because I have my head down. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's great. Oh. So, guys, gals, we appreciate you listening to Electrician Live and joining us. Hopefully share it with other people. Those that are in the Fast Tracks program, appreciate you. And thanks for joining us on Wednesday nights. Again, apologize for last night. Kind of went all over the place. Hopefully you got something out of it, but I got you covered. I decided to do a 517 to make things even clearer. And then I dissected out things that I think would be on an exam. So that'll be out soon. Other than that, what do we got? Oh, Jay, we got the grounding and bonding webinar series starting next month. So that is 12 hours, 3 hours, 4 times. There's four sessions. And we're going to have 3 hours each session where we're going to talk about grounding and bonding all the way from very beginning, the concepts of bonding and grounding under 250.4. We're going to be talking about those and moving our way up and talking about, again, obviously equipment grounds, supply side bonding jumpers, the importance of grounding and bonding. Again, the issues about people using the neutral conductor on the supply side to do the bonding of metal enclosures. That's permitted, 250.142. We'll be talking about that. All kinds of stuff we're going to cover in that series. So how can you join that series? Well, in order to join that, then you can simply go over and go to electricalcodeacademy.com, .net, or .org, and you'll see a subscribe or subscription button at the top. Click it, and you can subscribe. And it's $9.99 a month. You can cancel at any time, or you can pay for the year in advance, however you want. And you get to get access also to all of our other content that we have out, the residential that we're working on, and I'm behind on that, but I'm going to get caught up. Jay's got me some material waiting for me. And again, you'll get access to some of the other stuff that we've done as well. And also, again, I saw a question about a estimating software. I will give you one that I will recommend for you to go look at. It's called Best Bid Hybrid Pro. Go Google it. And that is a pretty nifty software. I worked a while with the developer of that. And it is a pretty nifty estimating program. It has a lot of built-in features. So it's quite amazing. So go check that out as well. The Best Bid Hybrid Pro. And you can just Google it and it'll come up. And that is an amazing system. I have it as well, because we've talked about, most people we've talked about it before, is that I used to do all of my pricing based on an estimating software. Jay does it per device, but for me, I used to use estimating software for everything, right? So again, check it out. Best Bid Hybrid Pro. Go check it out. On Google it, you'll find it. It's a great estimating software and very affordable, and it has a lot of features. I mean, a lot of features in it. I used to have some videos on it, but again, pretty neat estimating software. But no, I don't do anything with it. But tell the guy you got it from me, the guy that actually will answer your questions on it. He knows who I am. Tell him that you heard about it from me, and maybe he'll give you a discount. Okay. Never know. So
I love discounts.
Love discounts. Okay. Cool. All right, Jay. I think that's it, man. There's nothing else we can talk about on this Halloween. I hope everybody has a safe Halloween. Don't let the ghoulies get you. And be safe on the job site. And we didn't have any real gory discussions. Good, just your finger and flipping back, Jay lost his nail. But other than that, nothing bad tonight. Last year we talked about some gross stuff, but this year is pretty benign. That's good. We're coming out of this COVID. Hopefully, everybody's getting out there doing the trick or treating things. I'm gonna be at the lake. My lights are gonna be off. Don't come to my house for candy, kids, because you ain't gonna get any. Because I ain't gonna be here. Sorry. I'm gone. I'm out. I'm gone. All right, folks. Till next time, stay safe. Jade, you got anything you want to say to everybody?
That's it. We will see you guys next week.
All right. Till next time, Jason says peace. Okay?
Listening to Electrician Live with your host, Paul Abernathy and Jay Grunberg.